I watched Rebellion. It was fun. It was a fun match. I love OVE. I love Crazy Steve. I was glad to see him come back. Tommy Dreamer and Rhino are Tommy Dreamer and Rhino.
He's going to be so sad when he realizes Abyss isn't there anymore.
But he fits in with the crazy hardcore antics. So It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I also enjoy David Penzer. And the former WCW and TNA ring announcer returned to Impact Wrestling at Rebellion's first and second nights. Penzer, of course, had previously worked for the company in 2005 through 2010. Impact VP Scott D'Amore welcomed Penzer back to the company, tweeting, "One of the best ring announcers of all time is back with Impact Wrestling."
Woo! That was David Penzer's catchphrase, right?
Woo! We like David Penzer.
Yes. Impact Rebellion also saw a new backstage interviewer by the name of Gaia Miller. Take it as you will. She made her debut. Miller is a 22-year-old professional wrestler from Alabama by the name of Georgia Leanne Milton, or Glam. She's also the girlfriend of Impact wrestler Ace Austin.
Well, that's not surprising, is it?
No.
She's good. She's a good-looking young gal, and I hope she does well there. She was all right on Rebellion. Didn't stand out as great, but didn't stand out as awful. So
that's a good place to make your debut.
I suppose so. We also seen the round robin tournament to crown an interim WWE NXT Cruiserweight champion, and during that tournament we saw El Hijo de la Fantasma make his WWE debut with a win over old Jack Gallagher, who I was surprised was still there.
Now, outside of WWE, it was El Hijo de Fantasma, right? They added an L in WWE. Or am I mistaken?
No, I think they've kept his name the same. I think it's just El Hijo del Fantasma.
Okay, I always thought it was El Hijo de Fantasma.
What do you mean? What?
The Del. I thought the Del was de. Sometimes it is.
Maybe.
Wrestlers.
Maybe. It's the son of Phantasma.
Yeah.
That's what it translates to, though. Jeez. So, I guess, yeah.
Well, but I mean, Alberto was Alberto Del Rio and outside he was Alberto El Patron. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I guess I don't know. The one letter, I'm not sure. They might have changed. I didn't look into it. Sorry.
I could be wrong. My mind wants to say it. I've always heard it de Phantasma. But I'm not going to argue that. What's good to know is he's in WWE in a cruiserweight division that doesn't even really exist anymore.
Right.
At least they kept him during the cuts, though. I think he's going to do a lot of good in the company.
I mean, he's an asset. He's a hell of an asset. So he's definitely good to have. Yeah.
Yeah. More WWE releases include Chris Hero, NXT's Dorian Mack, who was involved in a serious car accident the same day he received the news. It's bad times.
That's shitty.
It's Chris
If
Hero
anybody's seen the Twitter, yeah. And if anybody's seen the tweet that he put out, he's literally got a hole in the back of his head. Like, it literally punctured a hole in his skull. It's sick.
That's not good.
Wish the best for old Dorian Mack.
He shouldn't read text from Vince while he's driving.
He probably shouldn't. But of course, there's good things to come along with this, Paystee.
Yes, because according to a report from the Wrestling Observer, all recently released WWE wrestlers are being paid for 90 days, but WWE has the right to use them during that time.
That's just so weird, isn't it? So you don't have a 90-day no compete clause, and you're not getting released you're not released now. You're getting released in 90 days is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. You're still on the line for 90 days. We're firing you 90 days from now. Keep your phone on. We might need you for something.
Yeah, could you imagine walking to work and they're like, "You're fired," and you're like, "Okay, but we're gonna pay you for the next 90 days." Oh, that's fucking cool. But you have to come to work for the next 90 days. Well, what the fuck? So you're firing me in 90 days? Well, I mean, at least it gives you time to find a new job, I guess.
Right. Makes you wonder how many of them they're gonna change their minds on by the time the 90 days are up and try to re-sign.
Right. Well, I guess it depends on how long everything's shut down. Furlough them fuckers. Furlough them. WWE likes their furloughs. They should just furlough everybody, really. Well, not everybody. There's some people that they should just let go.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've talked about it. I think you mentioned that last week. We've talked about how WWE's just been stockpiling everybody as soon as AEW came into the... It's people they don't need, they'll never use. It's wasting their money, and it's hurting those people's careers. I mean, yes, it's putting food on their tables. Probably more money than they'll make anywhere else. But it still doesn't help if nobody sees them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but it's tough times.
Tough times.
Sami Zayn.
Well, yeah, because he's the only person on the injury report this week, which is good, but bad for Sammy. Although, it's kind of, I'm kind of calling bullshit on old Sammy. Sami Zayn recently revealed on Twitter why he hasn't been on TV lately. It appears the current Intercontinental Champion recently had his wisdom teeth removed. In fact, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, had some advice for Zayn, reminding him to be careful of dry socket. Now, it's cool that wrestlers from other promotions are looking out for other wrestlers, but you son of a bitch, Sami Zayn. You can't work through fucking getting your wisdom teeth removed? Like, how many wrestlers have worked through how many injuries? And of course, some to the detriment that really reduced their number of years on their career by decades. But wrestling with your jaw sore isn't gonna fucking hurt. And I call bullshit on that. I don't think that's why he's been off TV. And if it is, I'm gonna call pussy card on him. Get in there and fucking wrestle with your sore ass wisdom teeth, bitch. She seems odd. I've never heard of that in my life, Paystee.
Yeah,
never.
No, it's something. It's
and
definitely bullshit. Because I've worked after getting my wisdom teeth removed.
Oh, I did too. And he's like he's an indie guy. He's worked through some crazy shit.
Yeah.
There's no way he's taking time off for his wisdom teeth. He's one of the greatest
heel minds in WWE right now.
Oh, yeah.
It makes a whole lot of sense.
It could be storyline I hope it's storyline.
Yeah. Especially
because
if Britt Baker gets involved, like
that is fun.
Adam Cole told her to do it. Like, hey, you gotta say this on Twitter.
Such good shit.
It is, but this isn't, because we're about to dip into the obituaries.
Yeah.
Poor Sami Zayn died of dry socket.
Dry socketed fucker.
Former Memphis wrestling manager Travis Scott Bowden has passed away at the age of 48 of non-COVID-19 reasons. Bowden was a popular manager in the USWA territory in the mid-90s and would later dedicate his time to being a great historian of the territory, including a podcast and blog called Kentucky Fried Wrestling. I almost said resin.
That's awesome. Kentucky Fried Resin. I wants me some of that. Yeah, it's a sad day. He's not the most well known, but man, if you were a Southern wrestling fan in the 80s and 90s, you've seen Travis Scott Bowden, and it's sad to see anybody go from the business. We hate to see it. Another one who, again, may not be known very well to folks outside of the wrestling bubble, but has been a huge part of pro wrestling for years. 72-year-old former WWE referee Billy Caputo has
He's
passed
gone
away.
kaput.
Yeah, Billy Caputo gone kaput of non-COVID-19 reasons. Billy Caputo did his first refereeing job in 1975 at Sunnyside Gardens in Queens for Vince McMahon Sr. During his long career, he was an official at the first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 10, and then moved on to WCW. After retiring as a referee in 2003, Caputo became an inspector for the New York State Athletic Commission.
And therefore, infinite rival of Vince McMahon.
Exactly. But still working, probably still helping him out with little under-the-table shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, depending how much Vince has got on the table. And last but not least, Global Wrestling Federation founder Joe Pedicino has passed away of non-COVID-19 reasons. He was 70. Pedicino was well known in the Southern wrestling scene, having launched Pro Wrestling This Week, a weekly televised wrap-up of all wrestling promotions, and announced in the AWA alongside Gordon Soleil, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, among other announcers during the 80s. He retired from wrestling in 1994. That's 94
Yes.
for all you cool cats and kittens.
He will definitely be missed. I know him well, especially from GWF, Global Wrestling Federation, was kind of, he was the one that was trying to come up after the NWA got sold to Ted Turner. They kind of tried to take their place. And he was ahead of his time. He literally, before he started GWF, he literally had a on-air televised show where he had an hour where he talked about every federation, the AWA, the NWA, the WWF, and the Indies, and would just tell the news of all of them. And that was his show. And it was pretty cool. It was like the Aftermags and Dave Meltzer, but in video form. And then, honestly, when he started Global Wrestling Federation, he did the same thing, which was, I think, kind of stupid, but whatever. He kept doing what he knew. On his own wrestling federation, he would spend 15 minutes telling you what was happening in WWF and WCW. It's like, okay.
That ensures you don't got to give him the ratings.
Yeah. It's like, well, here you're watching our show, and here's what's happening on two better programs, but don't turn the channel. Just keep watching our shows. But yeah, he seems like he was, all the little backstage stuff I've heard and business stuff I've heard, he's a very interesting person. He's a big, ugly Italian dude who had a super, super sexy wife. So he was a hell of a salesman. Let's say that. Just a really interesting guy. If anybody has time to just go online and look him up, there's a lot you can read about this fella. A huge wrestling fan, if nothing else,
Yeah. Well, I guess the least we can do is continue to carry the torch in his name, eh? Not with all the wrestling federations, but as many of them as we can handle.
Hey, we try to cram as much into that hole as we can.
Trying to keep up with it these days is probably what killed him.
Probably, ain't that the truth? Either that or his next sexy young wife that took him to the limit. BlueChew.com, folks.
Yes.
They don't sponsor us anymore. But
no, they don't. They never did. They never will.
Yeah. It's sad.
They don't sponsor functioning penises, Fat Mack.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So don't feel bad.
Feel good. As you should on the eves of 420.
Yes.
The whole month of 420. This is our 420 month, folks.
Yes, it is. Who would have thought COVID-19 would gift us the ability to sit at home and smoke weed?
Yes. Such good shit.
It is such good shit, and so is this show. I'm surprised it's over already. I'm going to keep on smoking.
Keep on keeping on, buddy.
And you all make sure to be right back here next week. We got another heaping helping